So my channel, whoa, one viewer so far. Feminist heavy flamer user. Yes, they are. Oh no, they're not. They are not. But it's my first time doing a live stream ever. And my channel is not just for politics, religion. It's also for entertainment, and video games is one of them. How dare they reject the Emperor's will? Well, the Emperor is human. He could always be wrong. Let the furries in. Hey, from an NCO Academy. What's up, Darth Kilhoun? Hey guys, Darth Kilhoun is a cool dude. You should go to his channel, subscribe to his channel, watch his videos. So, no, the Stormcloaks are not racist. Individual Nords, they're probably racist. And when you play the game, you run into some. But the actual Stormcloaks are not. There's a difference between a government military force and individual. Individual people are not the same thing as government military forces. And the Stormcloaks, if they were so racist, they would not allow non-Nords to join their military. Their military is basically diverse. Obviously, majority of the people in the Stormcloak military will always be Nordic because the local native population of Skyrim, they are Nords. So yes, majority of Stormcloak military will always be Nords. That's a fact. But that does not mean that they don't recognize non-Nords who are born and raised in Skyrim who also view Skyrim as their home. And the Stormcloak military does not have any discrimination policies. Try to play as any other race. And this is all game canon. This is inside the game lore. You could literally play any race and join the Stormcloak military. Now, if you are not a Nord, they will ask you a question. Why would a Khajiit want to fight for Skyrim? Why would a Dark Elf want to fight for Skyrim? They do have that question in there. Like they recognize your race, but they're just curious. Like, what is it about you not being ethnically a Nord? Why would you want to fight for Skyrim? And one of the answers you give is, well, Skyrim is home to not just Nords. And Galmar's happy with that answer. He goes, that's good, right? And anyone who fights the Empire is, it's my friend. So yes, the Stormcloak military is not racist. Individual Nords can be racist, and we saw a big example of that in Windhelm. You walk into the city of Windhelm, you have those two guys or three guys harassing that one Dark Elf woman, and they're mad at her. Oh, you guys are bad. How dare you not support the Stormcloaks? And by the way, even if those guys are racist, they do have a point of asking the Dark Elves, hey, why aren't you like proving yourself? Like, why aren't you proving to us citizens of Windhelm that you guys are worthy of living here, right? Because the Dark Elves, they've been living in Windhelm for like a couple centuries, I believe. So this was not something like that. Like their predicament in Windhelm is not something that Ulfric created for them, right? Ulfric just basically kept things the way they were. Dark Elves lived in that ghetto, the Grey Quarters. They lived in the Grey Quarter ghetto before Ulfric was born. This has nothing to do with Ulfric. Ulfric did not put them there. Ulfric just isn't doing much about them because he's just keeping things the way they were. It's just normal. People are used to that. And when you play the game, you have other Dark Elf NPCs I forget their names, but there's two of them. There are two Dark Elf NPCs inside Windhelm or within the vicinity of Windhelm. And they will straight up tell you that they don't understand why the other Dark Elves in the city just can't act normal, right? They're constantly complaining, they're not working, right? Like, and they say, yeah, uh, you just gotta keep working, be a good citizen, and people will respect you, right? And so, yeah, you have in all seriousness, are people literally calling Skyrim racist? Yes. Well, people are saying that yes, Skyrim is racist. Not the game. They're talking about like the in-game country Skyrim. They're saying that the Stormcloaks are racist. So for some reason, all the territory that's controlled by the Imperials is totally not racist. But the territory controlled by the Stormcloaks, the eastern half of Skyrim, that's just all a bunch of evil racists living there. But when you go to Winterhold, the advisor to the Jarl in Winterhold, he's a dark elf. Yeah, like like literally, like Winterhold is this epitome of Nordic, I guess you could say nationalism, right? And one of the advisors is a dark elf. They also have, by the way, Winterhold has the mage college. You have the College of Winterhold, where you can learn to become a mage. How is that racist? Like how is how's that racist? They have so many diverse students learning there, right? So just makes no sense. Um, you go to Riften, this like the advisor to the Jarl, she's a wood elf, like literally. And you walk around Riften, they have like so much diversity at the marketplace. You actually have a dark elf and an Argonian get along pretty well, which is something very rare because Argonians and dark elves are not supposed to get along because Argonians and dark elves are actually naturally racist towards each other. They literally have a natural inclination to genocide each other. Yet in Riften, controlled by racist Nords, somehow the racial groups are getting along pretty well. Like there's no fighting. And by the way, you go to Riften, you have successful dark elves living their life normally. You have Argonians uh, working normal jobs, and this is a city controlled by the Stormcloaks. So now you go to the Imperial side. Um, and I'm not including Whiterun because before you choose any faction, before you choose the Imperials or Stormcloaks, you basically have Whiterun being like this independent country, basically. Like it, it says, hey, we're staying out of this. You guys fight each other. Whiterun is not choosing any sides. So Whiterun de facto is theoretically its own country. And which also makes no sense for Bulgarf to actually side with the Imperials. Once you start the actual Civil War quest, it makes no sense for Bulgarf to side with the Imperials because they've already kind of declared him a traitor. Technically, not officially, but theoretically, he's also a traitor like the Stormcloaks. But that's not the point. But anyways, you go to the Imperial side, you don't really see like any elf advisors. You don't really see like you'll see probably I think a Breton bodyguard. If you go to Markarth, yes, the Jarl's bodyguard, she's a Breton. You go to Solitude, right? The High Queen, well, the High King's widow, like she has a bunch of advisors, and I don't see any elves in her council. This is the capital. Like this is supposed to be the capital of Skyrim, and when you go to Solitude, you do have this kind of like a little bit of a San Francisco vibe to it. Now, I love Solitude. Solitude is my favorite city in Skyrim, That's why whenever I play Stormcloaks, I'm always so happy to finally get to conquer it and put it under the yoke of the Stormcloak rebellion. But I love Solitude, but still, like Solitude kind of gives that vibe, like they're super intellectual. They got all the smart, artistic people there, and and like you go to the council, you go to the High Queen's council, you don't see any elves there. It's a bunch of humanoid looking creatures. I believe the secret vampire advisor, like I believe she's a Breton. Um, yeah, and most of her council are just a bunch of Nords. So yeah, but this is supposed to be the capital of anti-racism, apparently, according to the more left-leaning, more like liberal video game players who always side with the oppressive empire, which is kind of ironic because what's funny is that a lot of these anti-racist, anti-oppression folks, they're super, super against imperialism, but then when it comes to the empire in Skyrim, all of a sudden, like, oh, that's totally fine. The oppression is fine because they're not racist. You know what I mean? Like for example, you could try to explain to these people that the British Empire was not racist. You could tell them that the Belgian Empire was not racist. You could explain to them that colonizers in our world, in our reality, were not racist. They'll shut you down immediately. They'll tell you, "Oh no, they're oppressors. They're colonizers. Being a colonizer is racist, right?" But then you literally see them play a video game which describes a colonizer, colonizing, multiple countries, right? Then you have a rebellion in this country against the empire. All of a sudden, uh, all of a sudden, video game imperialism is fine because it's not racist, right? But you try to prove to these liberals that a lot of real empires on our planet were not really so racist. That's not true, right? But then, like when you say that that the imperial empire in a video game is also racist, oh, don't you dare say that. No, no, no. Like they're not racist. Like, it just makes no sense. Okay, in all seriousness, okay, This is Tolkien needs to be changed because of my racism. The lustful Argonian maid. Yeah, that book is so weird. I can't believe they actually created a book like that for that video game. Okay, either friendliest heavy flame user is watching me or Starved Calhoun because there were two of you, now there's one of you. So thanks for sticking around and still listening to my rants about the Stormcloaks. Hmm. I tried to share it. Let's see if I could actually be able to share it with some more folks. Let's see here. News feed, group. Let's see, Skyrim. Post to Facebook. All right. Okay, I'm still here for the ramble. Okay, so yeah, you're the only one here then. Awesome. Yeah, like I don't know how long I'm going to do the stream. It's basically 12 o'clock here on the East Coast here in New Hampshire. So yeah, like actually, this whole live stream is technically supposed to be an experiment because I've never done a live stream on YouTube ever, and so I'm thinking, why not? Why not do some rants about the Stormcloaks and explain to people that Stormcloaks are not racist and like I don't want my channel just to be dedicated only to politics and religion and history. I also want some entertainment on my channel as well, and you know, I love video games. I love fantasy books. I love novels. I'm still working on my own novels. So, yeah, yeah. So, like, I'm thinking in the future of making just some regular videos about video games as well. Maybe do some gameplay. By the way, Dark Hill Hoon, have you actually played Skyrim? I don't know if you're a fan of the Elder Scrolls or not. Hmm. As moderator, oh wow, I have so much power here. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I still don't know how long I'm going to last. SteamYards is a decent third-party website to stream from. Huh? Is that what you use? Hmm. And so I've played a little, like the intro. I need to find time to play it. Oh, Skyrim. Yeah. So with StreamYards, like, does it like connect to your YouTube channel, and like then when you're done with your live stream, does it just get saved on your channel? Like, how does the StreamYards work? Okay, I'm gonna try to do some more sharing. Hopefully, more folks will join in. We need some controversy here. We need someone to try to prove me wrong. Uh, well, they're not going to prove me wrong because I just basically proved they'll be wrong. I have a solid argument because individual racist Nords in Windhelm do not actually represent the Stormcloak cause, the Stormcloak rebellion. Now, when you just play the game, right, you have random NPCs who are not Nords at all, and they're just farmers. And you see farmers on the road. Whenever you walk or ride your horse in Skyrim, you will see a random NPC farmer walking, and they'll either say that they're on their way to go to Solitude to fight for the Empire, or they're on their way to go to Windhelm to sign up to fight for the Stormcloaks. And although to be fair, before I go further, it's kind of dumb to just have your recruiting centers only at your main location at your capital, right? So basically, like, recruitment centers and training camps on the Imperial side should be in multiple locations. Recruitment offices on the Stormcloak side, same thing. They should be in multiple locations, multiple cities, and training camps, same thing, should be in multiple locations. You don't have to go to Windhelm to be a Stormcloak. You don't have to go to Solitude to fight for the Imperials. I think that was something like the game developers did not think through clearly when they were writing the script. But anyways, you do have NPCs saying that they're going to join, that they're going to join a certain faction, and I've seen many non-Nords join, or on their way to join the Stormcloaks. There were Dark Elves. There were, I think I've seen a High Elf. I've seen an Imperial, an ethnic Imperial, on his way to fight for Stormcloaks. So no, the Stormcloaks are not racist. Yeah, and like, you also have to understand, the ignorant folks at Windhelm. Not all of them are ignorant like this, but the ones that are ignorant, they also kind of have a point in their ignorance, because Basically, dark elves live like hundreds and hundreds of years. After hundreds and hundreds of years, you're telling me they could not just improve their own lives, they could not be part of the community. Think about this, right? You claim to be a resident of a certain city, right? And you're trying to fit in. Well, how do you fit in not by not supporting the local culture? How do you fit in any way, right? If that city is at war, how do you prove your loyalty to that city, right? Obviously, people are going to just view you as a traitor and say, "Yeah, you're just a traitor. You and your kind are all traitors." I mean, it's logical. It's not necessarily correct, it's not necessarily true, but it's also logical to think that way. So it's not really racist. So the ones who are actually racist, also they have a reason. Kind of, it's understandable. It's not just like it's somewhat justified, but I mean like because um, you have like dark elves who did not really do anything to prove their loyalty. But at the same time, there are other dark elves in the city. When you play the game, there's at least two dark elves in the city that will tell you that they don't support their other dark elf brothers in their complaints, right? They're saying just do your job, be a good citizen, become a productive member of society. Like do something good for your hometown. Okay. Yeah, you set up your account on StreamYards that is linked to your YouTube channel. It streams from the website, and YouTube will save your streams until you delete them yourself. All right. Thank you, Darth Killahoon, for that. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm actually live. Hey, Darth Killahoon, look right here. Bravo Company, 246 Infantry Regiment. That that was my basic training unit. So in Fort Benning. So I still saved the hoodie. I don't know about you, but yeah, like we were offered to make our own custom hoodie for our company. Also, StreamYards makes it easy to invite people onto streams with an invite link. Oh, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool to know. Okay, it's been 23 minutes and nobody has really come in and tried to prove me wrong. So therefore, I think I'm going to declare victory. Well, either way, my arguments are 100% valid. Nice, got to load the basic gear. Hmm. I'm thinking of doing like a different stream as well, explaining why the Stormcloaks could win, and I want to do like multiple streams because I want more and more people to actually get involved and watch these live streams about Skyrim because I think it's a very very fun topic. We also were allowed to customize your own platoon logo. Interesting. Hmm. I think because we're a company. Yeah, I don't think we customized our platoon logo. Actually, yes, we did. Yeah, we're the Night Stalkers. I remember. Yes, actually, it's on the back. Yeah, it's right. I don't know if you can see it. It's on the top. Yeah, yeah. I had like a brain fart. I was thinking platoon. I'm like, oh yeah, duh. Yeah, this is our platoon logo right here. Yeah, it's kind of like my alt monarchist symbol, but yeah, we got like two M16s instead of two swords. Yeah, we decided to call ourselves the Night Stalkers. Very sinister. It's kind of like the Night Lords from the Warhammer universe, and I did not know what Warhammer was back then. But yeah, 25 minutes in, no one has been able to prove me wrong, and they never will because Stormcloaks are not racist. You just got to play the game. People project a lot of their own modern views onto this video game, and they don't realize this is a video game. This is just a form of escapism, to escape our reality, just to have some fun, just to get some entertainment. But like, but people who do have left-leaning ideologies, they for some reason everything in their eyes is racist. You could have a black man be conservative, and that black man's a white nationalist in their eyes. So, so unfortunately, these people they project their real world views onto a video game. And so they falsely attribute this racism accusation onto the Stormcloaks because apparently the Stormcloaks are not outright going out of their way to denounce racism or something. Yeah, so weird. But the total colonization of another country by Cyrodiil is totally fine. Um, basically conquering or although technically, if we look at the history, the Nords voluntarily joined the empire, and technically the Nords were the founding members of the empire, along with Cyrodiil, of course. And at the time, the Imperials did not call themselves Imperials; they called themselves the Needs. They were the Needs, and the Needs rebelled against the Aelid elves, and so the Needs basically just renamed their nationality to Imperial. And I think that's kind of like dumb how the creators of the Elder Scrolls created a nationality called Imperial, and within the lore, Imperial could mean two things. You're either ethnically an Imperial, or you're just someone who supports the Empire. So either you're ethnically Imperial or you're a person, an individual who supports the Empire. Because you could be an Imperial who fights for the Stormcloaks. So basically, you're an ethnic Imperial fighting for the Stormcloaks, and you could be an ethnic Nord who supports the Empire, and by that definition, you're an Imperial. So yeah, it's just kind of dumb. I think they should have called them Cyrodiilians. I mean, they're from Cyrodiil, right? I don't know why Cyrodiilian would not make sense. Or they should have just kept the name Needs. They're the Needs, by the way, the ancient, very far ancient descendants of the Nords who became the Needs while living in Cyrodiil and became enslaved by the Aelids. But no, the Stormcloaks are still not racist. You just gotta play the game, and you just figure out, with more interactions with NPCs, that just proves it. The NPCs just prove that the Stormcloaks are not racist. And regarding racist Nords, well, they exist in the game, but it's also understandable because they were fighting a war against an empire of elves, the Aldmeri Dominion. Who is the dominant race? The High Elves, the Altmer. The, they're the dominant race in the Aldmeri Dominion. The Aldmeri Dominion, it's its own empire, right? And on top of that, they control their own provinces. They control the Wood Elves. They also control the Khajiits and elsewhere, right? But basically, the majority nationality, the Aldmeri Dominion, is basically High Elves, or just elves in general, because they also control the Wood Elves as well, the Bosmer. And so, yeah, and it makes sense why, after trying to resist being conquered by the elves. It makes sense why the people of Skyrim are kind of suspicious of elves, because what if an elf has dual loyalty? It's logical to be suspicious of someone of dual loyalty. During World War II, right? We had like many, uh, of course, unfairly, very unfairly, many Japanese Americans were thrown into concentration camps, right? And like, yeah, it was totally not fair, but it happens. And but it's logical. It made sense, right? um, During the Second World War, also in the Soviet Union, you had this was not this was not as common as it was with the Japanese Americans, but there were a few uh, Russian families of German descent who were locked away in camps during the duration of the war to kind of be under the suspicion that they might be German spies, right? So yeah, this stuff happens naturally in every country. I mean, it's not right necessarily, but at the same time, you also have legitimate spies amongst those people. You had legitimate Japanese spies amongst the Japanese people who were arrested in the concentration camps. But at the same time, many Japanese soldiers were given the chance to fight for the United States. They were of course sent to the European theater of war. They're not really used in the Japanese theater of war for obvious reasons. But many of those Japanese veterans, they had a chance to prove themselves, right? Okay, War One as well for Americans. Yeah, yeah, okay, true, true. Yeah, like this stuff happens in war all the time. It's a historical fact. So why why would the Nordic people in general, regardless under whose control they are, whether it's the Empire or the Stormcloaks? And by the way, like, do you think that the Nords under Imperial control still are somewhat less racist? Give me a break. Like they still know who the main enemy is. They still know that it's Dalmor and the Old Mary Dominion, dominated by who? The elves, the high elves, right? So yes, of course, like it just makes perfect sense for Nords, regardless whether they're in Western Skyrim or in Eastern Skyrim. And Nords in general are going to be suspicious, or not suspicious, just not like elves. It just makes sense. But like when you play the game, that's not even the majority population. Majority population are pretty tolerant to all the other races. So yeah, like just play the game. You'll see a lot of characters really, they don't think about that stuff. Like they don't live their lives like a bunch of like modern day like liberal college students in America. Like yeah, like in the game, the in game lore just shows that like the residents of Skyrim are more concerned about other things than about some kind of racism. Now they have suspicion, they have mistrust, of course, but it also makes sense too. But at the same time, that's not even the majority of the population. But yeah, but the imperial and the imperial side also has like Norse who don't trust the elves for good reason, because if the empire defeats the Stormcloaks, well, they still have an elven enemy to fight. So yeah. Oh, and like the Nords in general, like when you look at their history, their lore, their in-game lore, their timeline, they're not really as racist as the other races. Dark elves are extremely racist. Dark elves view themselves as a supreme race. So the fact that they're not even participating in the Civil War. And when I say the ones who are not participating, I'm strictly talking about the Dark Elves of Windhelm. The Dark Elves of other parts of Skyrim are probably patriots of Skyrim, fighting for the Stormcloaks. Now, the ones living in Windhelm, well, first of all, a lot of them are refugees to Skyrim because prior to those Dark Elves, there were other Dark Elves who lived in Skyrim for generations, for because they're locals, they're natives, right? But you also have a migration crisis that happened because there was a huge volcanic eruption in Morrowind, and so many Dark Elves sought out refuge in Skyrim, and they were welcomed by the Nords. And it was the Nordic High Kings who welcomed the Dark Elves and gave them refuge in Windhelm. So, yeah, but like after centuries of living in Skyrim, particularly Windhelm itself, right? Um, Many of the Dark Elves did not assimilate into the society, right? They're looking at the grandchildren of the people that they were supposed to assimilate with, right? And these people are thinking, well, you probably knew my grandfather when he was alive, and yet you're still not acting like you're a worthy citizen of this community, right? You've been here for centuries because you have a longer lifespan, and you still have not done anything to prove yourself worthy, right? You still have not shown any signs of patriotism, right? So it just makes sense why when you first walk into Windhelm, you have that one very bad interaction where you have this one woman being harassed by two or three dudes who are legitimately racist, and their racism makes sense because they're thinking, okay, these guys they already don't like them, right? They don't like them in their city, but then when the war breaks out, they don't do anything to prove their loyalty to that city. So so it just fuels some anger amongst some of the citizens, and it's mostly in Windhelm, right? And if you go outside of Windhelm, the Dark Elves are treated pretty fine, pretty well. And like I mentioned earlier, the Stormcloak military accepts everybody. Everybody is accepted into the Stormcloak military. So yeah, Stormcloak military. The Stormcloaks are not necessarily the Nords, right? Like for example, like we have many U.S. citizens who don't share the opinions of the current U.S. military, right? It's not really the same thing, right? Like, we're not going to claim that the army is racist or like I don't know if I want to go into that. I can't. I don't know if I want to open that can of worms right there. But basically, yeah, um, the army, they change their opinions on many things and they accept basically whoever into the military these days. But a huge portion of the citizens don't like certain people joining the military these days. But that does not mean that the military itself represents those individuals, right? So yeah, same thing with the Stormcloaks. The Stormcloaks have their own policy, their own political agenda, right? And so yeah, they accept everybody into their ranks. So I do wish that that the game developers they would have added a few token dark elves, token orcs, some token Altmer in the Stormcloak military whenever you play the game. Uh, Although they have NPCs, supporting the Stormcloaks who are not Nords, but that's and they do have non-Nords in political power in Stormcloak controlled territory. That's also true, but it would have been nice to see like a few soldiers here and there who are not Nords and fighting for Skyrim. But when you play for the Imperials, it's kind of similar. You mostly have either Imperials. I'm talking about ethnic Imperials, or you have ethnic Nords fighting for the Imperial side. And the only actual like diversity you see is amongst some of the officers. You see like I think there's a high elf fighting for the Imperial side. I think there's like also I think there's like a red guard I think fighting for the Imperials. But yeah, but yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of red guards are extremely racist. They literally like you think the Nords hate elves? Oh, red guards literally are Nazis. They are literal. There's a lot of military. Oh, so okay, lost a viewer. There's a lot in military that don't agree with the military. That's true. True. But basically, to those of you who are still going to watch this stream, what was I talking about? Yeah, the Red Guards, they're a bunch of NAZIs. They are. Like, you think the Nords are a bunch of evil, racist? Oh, no, no, no. The Red Guards are a lot worse. So, yeah, but yeah, like, the Red Guards would literally persecute whole elves in Hammerfell. So don't give me this crap about the Stormcloaks are racist because some kind of mistreatment in Windhelm. Give me a break. I've been ranting for 42 minutes now. Okay, looks like no one else is going to join the chats. Well, this video will be saved. I hope you guys enjoy watching this, and in the future, I'll try to make more videos pertaining to entertainment and my ramblings and my rants. So yeah, if you guys want to support my channel, go to patreon.com/altmonarchist. And also like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys share this video with your friends. And I'll probably make another video trying to discuss why Stormcloaks are not racist. But yeah, this is my first live video ever. So hopefully I didn't do a bad job running this. And it's already it's 12:30 in the morning. Well, I'm here on the East Coast, so it's pretty late. I'm going to bed.